The southern side of the town, they turn and then go quite up alongside the Garonne and heading in towards the finish at Le Lac, where they've got what they call a Parc d'Exposition, a great big exhibition area on the outskirts of Bordeaux. It's dead flat, it's been dead flat pretty well all the way. We had a short little climb after 24.5 kilometres being covered when Rees went over in first place. Roscioli was there with Fidanza, and that was the order they went over. Roscioli tried to get away early on. You see that little mountain climb of the sprint just on the left-hand side of your picture there. Well, the first sprint today was run by Capella. De Klerk was second, Musea was third. The pack got together, then off took Roscioli. Rees hauled him back, took the climb, and then Fidanza came out in third place. Then they heading on down into Bordeaux. They've sort of put the lid on it and decided that they'd trundle on in, and then this group erupted out of the front with about 30-odd kilometres to go, and they're just staying here. Luvio hammering down the other side for Oncé. They're terribly upset now, the Oncé team, because their star sprinter Jalabert retired yesterday. So now then, can he do something about it? Right down in Bordeaux, of course, is where they export all those delightful wines from this area. Christian Hen going across to join them as well. This is a day for the lesser riders. I don't mean any disrespect to Motte, but in fact in this case it's Brian Home. I hadn't got him on my original list, but Brian Home then, with so many riders, 20 I'm hammering through here. And fortunately, as far as Abu Jafrov's concerned, he's got one of his Lampre men here, Bramati. So if they ride together, but they don't seem to be doing that. There's Yakimov, who's in this little group with his team captain Motte. So I thought they'd probably try and work together. Andrew in this little group as well. Frankie Andrew, that's who we're looking at now. He's got Steve Bam, but there seems to be no team tactics at the moment. They all seem to just sort of have a little go to suit themselves. And that other group will be coming up from behind. So the danger, of course, what they're all doing is attacking Abu Jafrov. I know Ekimov has won stage of the Tour before. He usually takes off with about 2 to 3 kilometres to go. Most of these riders we see here are not true sprinters. They're the sort of riders who have to sort of turn the wick up, put the power down, grit your teeth, hang on for grim death, and just burst away with about a couple of kilometres to go to see if you can get the stage. Well, we haven't seen Marson out. He was on my original list of selections. He's another man that can do just that. So let's see who's going to go. Vermont here for Festina, who've come good in the last week of this tour. When they finish here today, around about, what, 2:30, most of the riders should be home and dry, or at least they'll be in the showers, getting wet and then dry again. Are going on the train, the Temps Grand Prix, the TGV, which will take them up to the edge of Paris. And here we are, the blue train, or the blue and white train anyway. The Benestos have been on the front all day. They closed down all the attacks until this one slipped away. And of course they're protecting the yellow jersey of Indurain, who came under pressure yesterday on the Tourmalet when Rominger went over and gained a 50-second lead. Rominger was very, very critical of Jaskula's performance. He felt that Jaskula ruined his chances of getting away that day, and I don't quite see how he made that equation, but nevertheless, that's what he was saying. Indurain said, well, he wasn't bushed, he climbed over the top, 50 seconds down, he knew he'd catch them back on the descent, he wasn't that bothered. So, well, you could have fooled me, because when I looked at his face, the first time in the Tour de France, we'd seen Indurain really looking like the pain and pressure was on. But he said he rode at the speed of Jarospe, his teammate, and he was happy even though they lost 50 seconds on the climb, because he got it back on the other way. Well, that's history, that's yesterday, and so now, today, who's going to get this particular stage? Yesterday's stage victor was Claudio Chiappucci, and a picture on Lake Keep this morning. He's got him with his hands in the air, and it looks like they put him, you know, that Chiappucci has now come out of his box. He looked just like a little jack in the box, he did, the little devil, this morning on the front page of Lake Keep. And here we are then, Vermont still for Festina, trying to get himself a stage victory. They've already had one from Pascal Lino. It's a long old way for Vermont here, and yes, the concern, of course, for the Belgian is how fast are the rest coming up to him. Michel Vermont, which I seem to remember this fellow either winning the Michelin Classic in the Isle of Wight, must be about 10 years ago now, or getting very close to it. That was, I mean, Sean Yates won it one year, but I got a suspicion this fellow got very close to it indeed. The old memory, when you go back over 10 years, gets a little bit hazy, and he's doing just the right thing. He's got away from his compatriots in this, 20-odd men. There were too many to work collectively. They've been attacking all the way, but the question is, has he got the sort of ability to stay away from people like Ekimov back in that group behind him, people like Steve Bauer, who's been waiting to do a long ride off the front and try and catch up with somebody. Carotto is in this group as well. He was, second place yesterday with 5 kilometres to go, and this man is really burying himself at the front. And concerned by looking back, you can see that, well, they're not bothered, are they? Oh, this could work. They've got to reorganise themselves now and just see if they can get back together and start to catch up with Vermont. No real great success this year. Vermont is 14th in the circuit at Hetvolk. Didn't have a victory last year. In fact, you've got to look back to 1991 in the Paris Bourges when he finished 5th overall and got a stage victory there. And he won the Tour Limousin that year, so 91 was his last year of anything like a fair amount of success. And right now he's hanging on to try and get this stage. He's ridden the Tour de France 3 times in the past. Always a bit out of the frame, though. Best place ever, 70th. Hasn't won a stage yet. Will make sure Vermont get this one now. The rest are coming up to him very hard indeed. There, Carotto from yesterday. The big fellow in the yellow was second, really sitting on the wheel. It looks like Bramati at the moment. Vermont will know they're coming up then. He just looks back now. All systems go. Well, a stage victory yesterday for Italy, and good news then for Claudio Chiappucci and Stephen Roche and all the other career followers, because Carrera said they were dropping out of the sport at the end of this year. Well, they've now said, subject to confirmation, there's a press report that they will in fact be in the sport next year. Carrera are going to sponsor a team next year as well, so they're still with the sport, thank goodness for that. And I suppose Claudio Chiappucci's performance has certainly helped, as has the gutsy riding of people like Roscioli, who took that stage victory. And of course Stephen Roche has always been thereabouts, and again yet another attack. This looks to me like it could be Yekimov going, and Abdul Jafarov can get on his wheel if he can. He'll be towed along because Abdul needs a lead out. He's not a man that stands 4 or 5 kilometres of thrashing. And still Vermont hanging on at the front. Another bit of news today, by the way, the man who's taken the victory, the prize for fair play, the man who they all felt had given the most gentlemanly conduct throughout the race, is Gianni Bugno. The prize that was won last year by Stephen Roche. Gianni Bugno, who's not had a very good Tour de France. He's really been struggling, and in fact he's way off the pace at the moment, off the shot. I'm trying to see where he is. He's so far down I can hardly find him. But Bugno then, who's courageously gone on, always been very gentlemanly, always been cool, calm and collected. He's got the fair play trophy that was awarded at the end of yesterday's stage, or the decision was at the end of yesterday's stage. And Yekimov on the front, burying himself here in a determined way that Ekimov can do so well. World record holder, about 11 world records has Yekimov broken. He hasn't broken the hour record, he's broken just about everything else up to that. In fact, he hasn't broken the hour record. He might have done the amateur one. I must recheck those facts. Sorry if I mislead you on this one, but Ekimov, I know, broke just about everything on the track up to all sorts of distances and had about 11 or 12 records. And there, Abdul Jafarov. In fact, that must have been Charlie Motti if we look back and found Yekimov. Yekimov then coming up here, caught Vermont. That could be Fidanza just in there at the moment, or is it Zanata? Zanata, sorry, from Gatorade. They're all jumping all over the place, aren't they, here? 2 kilometres to go. Ekimov's done just the right thing. Lovio comes through and dives into the left-hand side. The man in the pink takes off and onto his wheel goes. It looks like Christian Hen at the moment. Hen chasing after him. Well, there's a load of riders in here desperately keen to get a stage victory, and Bauer has moved up as well. Simon back in 4th spot, and I think I can see the bunch coming up. The big main pack is not far behind. They will be pulling those cars out of the way. I'm sure I saw the main group with 2 kilometres to go, and Bauer gets out the saddle and starts to punch for the line, but it's still 2Ks to go. Something like about just over a couple of minutes of agony, and Simon is on his wheel and Bauer's trying to get rid of him, putting on all the pressure he can do then. So Bauer is trying to get this stage victory. Steve Bauer is on the front. Simon takes over with just over 1 kilometre to go. Bauer is on his wheel. The rest of that 20-odd man group behind him snaking all over the place. Abdul Jafarov in the green, he's just waiting for a lead out then. Can they come up? Can these two stay away? Simon is more of a sprinter. Look, he's rocking his head. He doesn't want to stay on the front all the way through, and Bauer won't want to carry him because Simon's probably got the sharper sprint of the two. fact, I'm looking again. Excuse me, it doesn't look like Simon. He's a bit of a thinner chap than this one, so I'll just wait confirmation when he starts to power through here. But certainly the Castorama rider looking for their first stage success of the stage. Barr's getting a nice lead out now. And that's it, we're round that sharp left-hander. We've got a sharp right-hander. It's dead flat, dead straight, right the way down towards the finish. They'll have something like about 850 metres of dead straight. They're going to turn sharp right now. And that's it. They'll see the finish, and Barr is on the front. Oh, a bit of paper flew across, and I thought it disturbed him, but it didn't. He's looking back again, because he knows he's towing the Castorama rider, and that's just not a good thing to do. And I think he's going to say, I've stuffed enough now. I've been doing all the work. Abdul Jafarov hovering menacingly just near the front, providing he doesn't demolish the rest of them. There should be a fair old gallop here. This is typical of what's happened in Bordeaux. Big sprinters have won here in the past. People like Carsons, Godefroot, Hoban, Merckx has also dug deep, and the American Finney won back in '87. Who's going to get this one? Looks like Telecom still powering away here. Well, they've got some big hitters in there. Aldag's a bit off the pace at the moment. Christian Hen is trying to go at the front, and Brian Home on the front as well. So Telecom with at least 3 men in this one, and Home on the front, galloping forward, and out of the pack comes Marson. Marson's coming off the front. Abdul Jafarov alongside him. Marson, Abdul Jafarov, Sorensen trying to fight his way through with the blue cap, and Abdul Jafarov throws his arm up, and he's nearly lost it. He's nearly lost it. Oh, what a near catastrophe. We'll have to see that in slow motion. He looked back, threw his arms up, and then had to go back down again. Abdul Jafarov bouncing off the wheels then, and the rest rolling in here. Are not concerned about that sprint. They've kept out of the danger zone. The radio-reactive, ultra-sensitive sprint area where men are men. My goodness, this is it. You don't have to have a faint heart as Marson takes off. Abdul Jafarov gets his wheel. Brian Home is absolutely cooked. Sorensen is coming up behind with that blue crash helmet for Carrera. Abdul Jafarov flicks off Marson's wheel, heads for the line. Still powering his, look at that, body right over the front of the bike, pushing back on the pedals, using his short, sharp, punchy legs, all the power of those muscles. And as he goes on, he sits up, and look at the way they're coming up to him. He's freewheeling, and then right in there, Andrew tries to come through alongside. Oh, that was closer than he would have wanted, because that looks like Sorensen on the far side with Andrew. Marson as well. It looks like equal second for 3 riders, but I'd probably shade it to either Andrew or Sorensen on the far side and Marson on the inside. We'll wait for the official verdict on that one. Well, let's get my breath back. Back to the other part of the race. The Prudential Indurain there with Gerard Rouy, Jean-Francois Bernard here, coming through next on the string. All the Bonestos, it really is a regal tour of honour almost. They're rolling into Bordeaux. They've done their job throughout the tour. They protected the man in the yellow jersey, and I know Miguel Indurain, Miguel will be the first to say that his team has helped him, because although the man is a very, very strong rider indeed, you need a team round about you when the going is tough to mark the moves and bring back the breaks, and the Bonesto team have not missed a beat right the way through. And so we go across the top of the Garonne, this beautiful part of France. Bordeaux here, the 8th largest town in France, the prefecture of the Gironde. And here, beautiful statues, beautiful part of the world to be. And of course, it's a great place because that's where they export all the glorious wine from. Well known for its wines, this neck of the woods. These riders, though, have no time to rest, relax, and have a few bevies until they get to Paris on Sunday. And I'm sure that Miguel Indurain, the usual noise will be waiting him on the Champs-Elysees. But before we get there, there's Claudio Chiappucci, winner of yesterday's stage. The little devil himself, Il Diablo, the jack in the box, as they said today in L'Equipe, with a lovely, lovely picture coming across the line by no more than a gnat's whisker from Garotto. Then going across the Bonestos, Alonso number 2. There, number 4, Pedro Delgado. Just in front of number 9, that's Jose Ramon Griati. So this is a roll call of honour for the Bonesto team, because there, up in front, is Gerard Rouy. We just see moving off the front the brother of Indurain, that's Prudential Indurain. He's doing a bit of work on the front now. There, number 3, Jean-Francois Bernard. And there, number 7, Prudential Indurain, the man I said, sees all his problems of the busted wrist. I don't know how much damage he did to it, but he's been strapped up for most of the tour, and he's ridden on to help his brother. 4 years difference in age between those two, and they're very, very similar in looks as well, but one wears yellow and one wears blue and white, and I suppose they could fool a few people if they switch jerseys. In fact, I forget which rider it was now, but one rider turned up at the start one day, and the officials discovered that he got 179 on one side, 178 on the other. I think those were the two numbers. It was Rick Van Slyke or something, or Jim Van der Leer. They'd been staying in the same room. They put the numbers on, and they'd mixed them up, so they both got the odd numbers, and they had to sort that one out. Well, I suppose if we put Indurain in yellow, young Prudencio, it would take a keen eye to spot it at this sort of distance. But nevertheless, Pinesto's doing a wonderful job there to keep Indurain in for his third victory in the Tour de France, no doubt about that. 4 minutes to go, because tomorrow, by the way, we have the time trial stage in the Tour, and there's one man who's so superb against the watch, Indurain, that really the battle is on for second place. Chazal then, not the last team overall. They have been the last team to be put into the race, and I'm just quickly looking at the team classification as their rider came in. They, at the moment, are lying 17th overall, and behind them were Perfect, Lampre and Lotto Belgacom are the other teams. The team leading on classification is Carrera Jeans as we go into the last couple of days of the race, and Matan Amaya is the best young rider. Let's have a bit of a gallop here then, lads. They're all going to have a bit of a sprint anyway. Usual charge for the line, sharpening up the chance when you might have to do this for real, but that's a little bit of a dummy run as far as they're concerned. But the yellow jersey safely home today. Polka dot jersey will be in there somewhere. There he is, Tony Romigo on the right-hand side, drifting out now as well. The days in the mountains are over. The time trial is tomorrow. There, Bunny on the left-hand side, winner of the Fair Play Award. So we're watching the giants on the road. There's 138 of them left, because yesterday Breukink retired. And there is that marvellous bronze statue. That one is a column 50 metres high, and it's surrounded by the top of the Labidite, and it is this sprint we're looking at now. We've had a quick look around Bordeaux. We're going back to that sprint where Abdul Jafarov chose Martin's wheel, a good choice. The blue crash out in the middle is Sorensen. Brian Home on the left. The Danish riders begin to drift off the pace, and watch the flick over on the far side from Frankie Andro, who starts to go on the far side. Abdul Jafarov obviously looked at the wrong finish line. He saw the Fiat barriers. I thought he thought, that's it, I've done it, and he nearly lost it. But our sideways camera shows it wasn't quite as close as we thought it was from the telephoto lens as we replay that one yet again. Abdul Jafarov getting his second stage victory, but only, look the other way, Abdul. Oh. You can see this. He suddenly realised there's some. Look at the grimacing now. Both of them. Oh, we'll get him on the line. They've done the right thing, by the way. This fellow sprints to the right. They've gone the left-hand side. They've worked it out. Sorensen there. Andrew alongside him, fighting out for second place. Martin just goes through as well. Let's see who got it. Oh, I think that went to Frankie Andro, but it'll take the man with the, because our camera's slightly left of the, here we go, there's your result. Andrew did get it from Sorensen Martin, so I was just about right on that one. Dag Otto Lauritsen coming into fifth place behind. Well, Dag Otto Lauritsen working for the Norwegian Federation. He rides for TVM. He actually is very much involved in the World Championship. That was the track at Hamar where Graham Albury broke the record, the hour record, earlier this week, or tail end last week. And Boardman, if you just switched on, has broken the record yet again. So great news here in Bordeaux. He did it this morning, and there were not a lot of people there to see him, but nevertheless a few more than were in Norway to watch the great record by Graham Albury. So Brits now have battered the hour record, and we've had a great sprint finish here in Bordeaux. Standard practice, by the way, over the years. It dates back the finish in Bordeaux to 1903 when Laser won the one, and Abdul Jafarov has put his name on the roll call of honour when great sprinters have taken the victory here in Bordeaux. This is the 73rd time we've been here. Ballyhoven then, the British rider, won in 1969. Some of the great sprinters, in fact he won again in 1975 as well. And so Abdul Jafarov puts his name on the list, which goes back to 1903, the first time 90 years ago we had the Tour de France. It finished one of the stages in Bordeaux, and Abdul Jafarov has put his name on that roll call of honour, and that's his second stage victory of the Tour, and he'll be looking forward to one on the Champs-Elysees, which again we on Eurosport will be covering live the finish on the Champs-Elysees. And when we see him explode in a straight line there, this is a much straighter sprint than we normally get of Abdul Jafarov, by the way, because if you watched probably about 3 years ago now, when Abdul Jafarov was sprinting up the Champs-Élysées. He veered to the right-hand side. There was nobody near him. He was on for a victory. He was wearing the green jersey, and he wiped out the barriers. He bounced off a Coca-Cola signboard, or one of these great big dummy Coca-Cola tins, and really went base over apex and slid down the road. It was the most spectacular crash, captured for millions and millions of viewers across the world. Well, Abdul Jafarov in the green will be trying to sprint out the Champs-Élysées on Sunday as well. We're bringing that live on Eurosport as usual. Greatest bicycling coverage live you're likely to see. And Abdul Jafarov here spreading his wings. Look at this. Looking to his right. Suddenly realised on the left-hand side there was a threat coming. I think that's also a lesson if I'm going to lecture young riders. Just don't take your hands off. There's the track. We just sort of saw a quick view of the track that Boorman broke the hour record in. We didn't dwell on it, but France undoubtedly will have a bit to say tomorrow, because he was riding on the Karima bike made in France, or at least the frame was. Boorman, who had lots of psychological help, and here this man who only knows one thing: grit your teeth, punch for the line. He's just built for sprinting, and he's shown us yet again he's got that gift, really. It is a gift, but by God, you need some courage as well, because it's fearsome in there. Oh, here we go. He's unmarried, by the way, ladies. He keeps pigeons, he does a bit of fishing, and he lives with his sister. Come on, give us a smile. You always look so serious. Ah, there we got one. Well, we've seen that green jersey changing hands so far in the Tour. Cipollini had it earlier on, Nelson had it earlier on, and Abdul Jafarov. Jalabert was also in with a shout earlier on. He retired yesterday, so he's not had a chance of the green jersey. But Abdul Jafarov now in green undoubtedly will hold that into the finish. There's no more big mountains to come for him to be blasted out the back. He struggled over the mountains, which has seen the elimination of so many riders who just couldn't stand the pace. Some great names, great roll call of names have been decimated by the mountains and by the climbing, the tenacity of people like this man here, Tony Rominger, in the polka dot jersey, winner twice now of the Tour of Spain. Wants to really win the Tour de France, but he virtually said that this year he was using it as a test run, and he knows next year what he's got to do. Well, we'll wait and see if he puts his whole season round winning the Tour de France next year. Miguel Indurain is on his way to a hat-trick now in the Tour de France. He won't let go next year very easy, but this man now, who's really fought yesterday at the Tourmalet, showed that he has got the ability to climb the mountains and put the threats onto people like Indurain. In the polka dot jersey, tomorrow's a time trial. He's a damn good time trialist as well. I wonder if he'll win that stage, but it's going to take a bit of fighting, because Indurain, with some 25 time trial stage victories to his credit, won't give up tomorrow that easy. So, Bordeaux, yet again, a great area for cycling. It's lovely and flat round here, and that's what people like, no big hills. And we've had a very, very fast finish to what started out by being a fairly slow day. But the man in the yellow jersey enjoyed that slowish start this morning. His team got round about him, shepherded him on down in towards the finish, and now he knows that just lies ahead of him the time trial stage tomorrow, and then the ceremonial ride into Paris on Sunday, when I'm sure a load of people from his neighbourhood will be up there shouting him on the way. So join us tomorrow then for the time trial stage of the Tour de France at Montlhéry. We'll be back on air then to cover the 48 kilometres. The man in yellow should be under no threat, but see us then. From us on Eurosport, it's bye-bye.